Well, hello there. It's Andy. I haven't made a video in a while. Um, Frankly, I've been waiting to see how things are playing out. One of my last videos was about austerity measures, and America's not dealing with its debt yet. We certainly aren't when you consider the fact that we had recently had all this demagoguery over the Republicans wanting to take $38 billion out of the debt deficit spending to close the so-called deficit budget gap. And personally, $38 billion in a $3.9 trillion budget is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's the money we spend in a few days. Right now, we're spending about somewhere between $4 and $5 billion a year in deficit spending every single day. We're spending $56,000 per second, I read somewhere. Um, this can't go on forever. And at some point, it will stop. And it looks like we're coming soon to the point that it actually stops. Why will it stop? Well, because someone has to have control on the value of the money. And when you see prices rise faster than wages, at some point it will outrun the ability of Americans to afford anything, and it will stop in that sense. So they'll have to increase interest rates in order to bring the dollar into focus and raise the value of the currency. If they can do that, I don't know if they can, because our currency is purely hot air. It's the Federal Open Markets Committee, headed by the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and what every other foreign entity, government, sovereign wealth fund thinks of our currency. That's the value of it. How they appraise the value is the real value of the currency. Yes, you still have the 99-cent value meal here in the country. You still have 99-cent stores, and you still have some places $5.99 pizzas. But for the most part, those kind of prices that have held the line are really loss leaders to bring people in the door. And when you look at the whole of the economy, you're seeing prices rise drastically. When you see a tub of butter, which used to be 16 ounces, now it's only 15 ounces, and you see that it's $3.99 is the price if it's not on sale. When you see the price of cheese, when you see the price of meats, when you see the price of grains, when you see Walmart saying that they're going to have to raise prices this year. In fact, Walmart just said about a month ago, they said, frankly, our customers are running out of money at the end of the month. And what they're saying is that they're changing the way that they market to you by having bigger portions at the beginning of the month when the checks come in from various entitlement spending that our government does, doling out money to people so they can eat. And at the end of the month, they start putting smaller portions on the shelf, although the prices of those portions are higher, so people can get through. So with like diapers, they'll put a 24 pack or a 16 pack on the shelf in the beginning of the month, and then towards the end of the month, the biggest pack they'll have will be like a 10 pack. So that's what they're doing to stretch, so people can stretch at the end of the month. And that's Walmart. I don't know what other stores are doing, but you're seeing it. Recently, just yesterday here in Ventura County, they talked about the unemployment rate going down. But most of the jobs that were added were seasonal jobs, picking strawberries and other berries and working in the fields, which are low-paying jobs, and they're temporary. They're only going to be around as they're seasonal jobs. So we're not seeing a huge pickup in the kind of jobs that really provide to keep housing prices up. So it's a weird economy. You're seeing housing prices drop because no one can really afford them, and so that's actually kind of good because people that are savers who don't care what the value of the price of their house is because they're going to buy it and stay in it, those people are actually, doing all right now in some sense. They might not make a lot of money on their house, and they really don't care. But the people who aren't savers aren't able to afford the houses because they don't have the money to buy them. You need 20% down right now to buy a house because the banks are now going back to the standard lending practices of the ages, which is 20% down. It used to be actually 30% down a long time back, but 20% down seems to be about enough skin in the game for most people to say that they're going to do their best to stick with a contract and follow through, even if the price of their house goes down. So those are just a few observations I've been seeing. In our little town here, Simi Valley, we have more homeless people. And if you go to the Yosemite Shell Station, many times you'll get hit up, panhandled for money. If you go here on Tapo Street, you see probably about a dozen, maybe 2 dozen homeless people who hang out. So we are seeing a pickup, and that just tells me that the economy is not getting better. You cannot spend your way into a healthy economy. It's impossible. The only way to make an economy better, especially on the local level, is to somehow have some comparative advantage over the towns next door to you and the towns further out. But in our local town, or in Simi Valley, they don't seem to want to have a comparative advantage. In fact, they have a very good comparative advantage, which is the big landfill that's right next to us, which is not in our town, but borders our town. And we get a lot of fees from that landfill. It's actually on county land, or county zoned in the county. I guess they call it non-city land, or I don't know, county land. But we are getting a huge stipend from them, $2 million a year starting in a few years. And I say they should use it to provide free water for businesses, because when a businessman makes a decision, you provide free water to businesses. I don't know what it costs. It's an idea I came up with. Well, you'll have more businesses locating here. So yeah, we would be stealing businesses from the other side of the hills here, where our valley is kind of surrounded by mountains. But anyways, so that's one idea I came up with, but I'm sure there are others to bring more business here to Simi Valley. But on a national scale, we are reaching a point where you have to wonder how much further in debt we can go. Still the masses have the sheep. Well, they've pulled the wool over the eyes of the sheep, and they're still blind to the fact that their country's broke. I mean, when you're borrowing $1 for every dollar you spend, you're borrowing an extra $1 to spend more. Well, that just tells you can't go on that way forever. You're going to do one of two things. Either you're going to collapse the economy, or you're going to devalue the dollar long term, so we just have one of these, it just runs on and on and on. This depression doesn't end. So what would I do? I'd immediately cut government spending. I'd chop it in half, and I'd bring in a balanced budget amendment. That's the way I would solve the problem, if I were dictator. But of course, in our country, we don't have those. So it looks like we're a train that's going to come to a stop. We've been running on the rails of debt for too long, and the rails are going to run out, and we're going to have to come to a stop at some point. What will that stop be? I mean, I've called it before. I said we'll have a final economic convulsion. What will that look like? It's going to be a lot of dislocation. You're going to start seeing certain things that you used to see on the shelves not be there anymore, and then whatever those things may be, but it'll be things that we don't make anymore because we have to pay too high a price to import them. You may see hoarding. I know I hoard in a little bit because I have a stockpile of food, because I know whenever that economic collapse occurs, I don't want to be in a food store trying to find food. But you may see businesses no longer taking U.S. currency, and that's a possibility. I mean, I'm willing to trade in other currencies, so I'll take any type of money you have if it gets me a sale. So these are the things that we're going to have to look out for as lowly American citizens. I've been thinking recently about doing a video called "The War on Liberty," and I thought I'd actually, jazz it up a little bit and actually get into editing a real video. But we'll see. So, anyways, from where I stand, I see housing prices going down. And they'll continue to go down because there aren't enough buyers out there to buy them. There aren't enough good jobs out there. And I'm going to say that I'll see consumer prices going up. We will see an increase in prices throughout the end of the year. I suspect that silver, if you're an investor in silver, it's run up a little too high, and I have a feeling we'll probably drop back down into the 20s somewhere, and then it'll start to rise again. I don't know when that'll occur. Gold, I think gold's going to go a little higher in the immediate term. It'll, if we have 10% inflation, I expect to see the price of gold go up 10% or more. So we could see $1,700 an ounce, by the end of the year. So the stock market, I would not be investing in the stock market. I know a lot of money's going into it right now. Mainly it's all bank money. It's not really the individual investors that are buying because they have no money, many of them. And it's already run up pretty high based on a false money going in. And if I were invested in a 401k right now, which I am, and I'm not in the stock market, I'm out. I'm in inflation-protected bonds, and some other things. But if I were in the stock market, I'd seriously consider getting out right now. It's a good time to get out. I mean, you've had a pretty big run-up since the lows of 2008, and it's going to pull back. I don't know what, but if we have a real economic catastrophe of some sort, some would call the Fukushima power plant one of those, the tsunami in Japan one of those, some would call the flooding in the Mississippi one of those, and the flooding up in North Dakota one of those. But if we have a collapse of confidence in our currency, and how that would happen, probably maybe they would price oil overseas in dollars anymore. That could be a big factor. So my advice to anybody right now is stay calm, get prepared, and take it easy. Don't take things too seriously. But prepare for your families and prepare for yourself, of course, and spread the word that you need to prepare. If nothing happens, so be it. That would be great. But if the big thing does occur, whatever that may be, you need to be prepared. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. You might see another video from me in the future, in a month or so. Talk to you later. Bye.